everyone, and welcome to the Peddling Prince's Podium. I'm your host, John Ardelli, and I'm back at Jost House again this week. At the end of the Jost House segment last time, I said that I only scratched the surface of what Jost House has to offer, so I felt it deserved at least one more episode, and possibly more. I've been talking to the manager about doing additional episodes, and I may focus on some aspects of particular displays that are in the house over the next few weeks. But this week, I'm going to show you a little bit more footage. We shot a lot more footage than you saw in the episode last time. So I thought you might like to see the next level of Jost House, 100 years later.
We knew that the top part was dated 1910. So if we had taken that off, we don't know what we would have landed into. Damaged a beam, done any damage. So what she did is she made it in what they call the evolution of a family dwelling. So as you go to each floor, the house gets younger in time. A lot of people couldn't read or write, okay? So a lot of time pictures were used to tell you a story. They used to say a picture was worth 1,000 words. But one picture here tells you that the daughter's at the church, or her father gets there too late to stop her from getting married, so of course he didn't approve of the wedding. And then it's years later, it shows a picture of her much older, where forgiveness was given to her. So this is how they communicate stories. And also the minstrels of the time were very popular because they told stories through song. When they said to you, good night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. But if they do, take your shoe and beat them till they're black and blue. What they meant is if your ropes were nice and snug, you had a good base for the mattress. But if the ropes were loose, of course you were on the floor, and the bed bugs would live in the mattress. And as everybody knows, bed bugs are coming back because they're getting immune to sprays that we're spraying now. Also, tie the knot when you got married. There'd be two people in the bed, so therefore the base of the bed had to be straightened by tightening the ropes. So tie the knot when you got married. And a lot of people slept sitting up, and people said, well, why? Well, they had consumption, what we know as tuberculosis. And everybody says, oh, tuberculosis is such a it's in the past. Well, in 1979, the last hospital for TB patients across the waterways in Westmount or Port Edwards was closed in 1979. And if people can remember when they were going to school, where you had a test that they came and did a point test. And that's not that far back. Also, there was curtains around the beds, but no curtains on the windows, because what you would get from the sun is light and warmth. But in the wintertime, you'd have shutters that you could close, and they'd probably put a big blanket or some kind of a tapestry to kill the drafts. These places would have been cold. So you did have a dressing screen to dress and undress for privacy. And if you'll notice, on both sides here, the house is slanted. When you build a house, you know you don't leave wood lying around because it warps. So that settling shows you that in the wintertime everything is solid, everything is frozen. So everything is in place. Come spring, the thaw comes and everything heaves up. So this is over 200 years of settling for the house. So you'll see it's like bookends. It dropped right around the chimney. Also, the door dropped. So when it drops, it catches on the bottom. So what you would do is cut off the bottom and add it to the top. And that's how you fixed a cooker door. Okay? And in between the flooring, there is rope. Rope was a way of doing ships and sealing them. Well, they would use the same concept on a home as they would do on the ship. They would caulk with rope, or what they call chinking. It was done with oakum or hemp. It was wedged in, even little fishing vessels, and they put pitch and tar over it to seal it. So that was the method of the past. That's how they did it. This is the parlor, and this is for special occasions. You were there when you were born, probably. When you got married or introduced to your mate, there'd always be chaperones, and obviously a lot of times when you died. Because in the small villages especially, there was no funeral parlor. So if your grandparents or whoever passed away, they were waked at home. There was a wake for 3 nights, and then the next day they would be buried. But that was the way things were done in those days. And it wasn't morbid because it was somebody you loved and you cared for, so it was just part of life. But this, probably Christmas time, we'd get in the parlor. Always kept clean for the visitors and for special occasions. And you have Queen Victoria is in here and her son, King Edward. And we have an organ that's dated 1910. And it came from an area from Clinton, Ontario. And the stool we got from a gentleman in Glaze Bay. He saw the picture of the organ in the paper and called us. And what was unusual about that is that the organ stool has a back on it. Because when you're pedaling, you need the strength on your back. This is the Jost room, and it's all about the family. We have the family tree and what the Jost House represented, the Jost family represented. But one of the main points of this room is the map. The map is dated around 1844. The difference between this map and any other map you're going to see is Cape Breton County in that time. And all the names of the people living in the area at the time are on the map. So for people around the area, they want to come and see where their family comes from or where their holdings were, they can probably find it on the map. We've had people, we had a reunion from Scotland come in. Scottish people came to New Waterford and they had a reunion. They came in and all of them, there was about 17 of them in the room, and they found their great-great-great-grandfather on the map. And it was just for them, just a treasure, because they found out where they belonged or where they were. And that's what the big thing is. Also, we have in here a ballot box. In the old days, you didn't vote on a piece of paper. What you did is you voted by a black or a white ball. Now what it was is you had a ballot box. Each person, if you were going to join a club, each person would be given a black stone and a white stone. You'd go in privacy and you would vote black or white. If you had more whites, you were in. If you had more blacks, the term blackball. You were blackball, you were not part of the club. And that voting process is still being used in some of the establishments. They vote through black and white. And we have also a bread maker that belonged to Mrs. Jost. And she made great, I guess she made beautiful brown bread. And we have stories about the children, the Jost children coming here and sitting on the side here with a piece of bread and butter and molasses. So that's kind of nice to know. So she was quite a lady too.
Jost Heritage House is more than just a museum. Too often, history is forgotten because when something is happening, no one thinks to make a record of it. Jost House makes an effort not only to represent its own past, but also to represent what's important to the people of modern Cape Breton.
So we want to represent the birds of this area, the flowers, the plants, the people of this area and the community, and what they mean to us. History wasn't my main thing, but like I said, human nature was my main thing. Like, my personality is to make everyone part of my life, and maybe make them, me, myself, part of their lives. So that's who I am. Just a crazy little French woman having a nice time. Okay? And I do.
Thank you for watching the Peddling Princess Podium. I'm your host, John Ardelli, and I hope to see you all again here next week. Bye for now.